moving on to the next installment in the American Pie franchise. American Pie presents Beta House. Just to tell you right now, this is my favorite of the direct-to-video movies. By far. And this is the only one of the direct-to-video series that is actually an actual direct sequel to a previous installment. This is a direct sequel to Naked Mile. Although some characters have been changed due to not being able to cast, or they've decided to go a different direction. I don't know. Like most of the minor characters from the first one, Brandy, Trent, they've been dropped. But there were two major characters from the first film, that being Eric's girlfriend, Tracy, and his best friend, Ryan, were dropped from the film. They write out Ryan by saying he went to a different college, which he did say in the previous film, but by the end of the film, he was ready to go to be a beta, and then he's not in this, and they just say, oh, he went to a different college. But what they did with Tracy always gets me a little angered, because Eric and Tracy had a storyline in the film, where, in the previous film, where they were, she didn't want to have sex, and Trent, her ex-boyfriend, dumped her because she didn't want to have sex. By the end of the film, she was ready to have sex with Trent, but changed her mind because she wanted to be with Eric. Fuck that, because we get to this film and they casually, mention that she dumped him for Trent. Which makes no sense because of the whole story they went through in the previous film, but I guess it was an easy way to get her to write her out of the film. I don't know. But, so, instead of Ryan, we get Bobby. Bobby's not a bad character. I like his actor, Nick Nack, or whatever his real name is. He was also in Van Wilder freshman year, which coincidentally also starred Steve Talley, who plays Dwight Stifler in this film. And he's not a bad character. Robbie Amell is in this movie. He's not on the cover. He's a background character. But Robbie Amell is a great actor. And I think he could have been a good replacement for Ryan. But no, we get Nick Nack. We get him. Which, like I said, he's not a bad character, but when you go from someone like Ryan, who's this ladies' man, to this fat dude getting porked on his bed while making bratwurst, I don't know. It's just, I understand they're trying to be funny. I get it, but I never really cared for the character. Like I said, I don't hate him, but. So another change they made is that now instead of a small person frat, there's a geek frat, which has taken over the same frat house as the small person frat. So what a difference a year makes, I guess, because they say it's been a year. I guess. There is one storyline I'm going to have to question in this film, and it's Eric's storyline in this film, but he's trying to meet someone else, so he meets Megan Heffern's the actress. What's her name? Ashley. He meets Ashley, and he pisses all over himself, which I think is kind of funny, but come on, no one pisses for that long. He's in there, he goes in the bathroom first. It's a co-ed bathroom, because it's college. He goes to the urinal, starts taking a piss. She walks in, and then this is what happens. He goes in, he starts taking a piss, right? And then from this point, she walks in, says hi, gets in the shower, disrobes, asks him for her shampoo. He says, I'm busy, I'll be in a minute. And then, still peeing, a naked woman comes out of the shower, which, okay, she comes out and she puts her robe on so it just covers her sides and not her assets. not her tits. But it's just like, what woman does that? Especially if there's another man right there. If there's a man right there, you're gonna come out and just, oh, hi. And she smiles at him too. It's just like, what woman would do that? I know this is a unrated film, but what woman would actually do that? Come out and just show? No, she would cover up. I mean, it's common sense. He's still peeing, by the way. And he's watching her, and as she leaves, he turns around and pisses all over Ashley's shower stuff. Which, like I said, it shouldn't be going on that long. It didn't take that long to piss. Take a shit, maybe, but not piss, you know. And then he runs off and pisses his pants. And he runs off. And then that's where he meets Bobby. But, so his storyline in this film is that he prematurely arrives. Sexually. And that's his whole story. And you think, okay, that's going to come back somewhere in the movie. Nope. And they have a perfect place for it, too. They do. They have a perfect place for it. And we'll come back to that when I get to that point in the film. But it's this whole thing about how he has to have self-control, so he whacks out a whole bunch of times thinking that's going to do it. And then he's making out with Ashley, and she reaches down, and she finds out he arrived. And he didn't realize he did. He's like, oh, come on. I'm like, how did you not realize that you arrived? How did you not realize that? There's no way you couldn't have felt something, dude. It's stupid. It's just stupid. So, they have to do all these challenges to complete this board to become betas. They do, and they do become betas eventually. All this weird sexual stuff, I'm not going to go into the, the process of explaining. Now, here's another little mini gripe I have with this film. So, they go to this, it's called the Silver Dollar, it's a strip club. They go there earlier in the film to get, like, they have to sign his ass with a Sharpie or something, I don't know. Eric's ass or something, I don't know. And they go in there again to celebrate the beta thing, and the geek frat, the leader of the geek frat, Simon or whatever his name is, has come in, and he's brought the cops, and like, oh, because they're minors and stuff. Well, one, isn't he a minor? Two, they get arrested. Would you get arrested? If you go to a place and you have if you have shown a fake ID, maybe you get arrested. But just for being in there, I think you just get kicked out. But they get arrested. Dwight does too. And that's what doesn't make sense. Dwight must be of age. He has to be of age. At least 21. He has to be. And yet he gets arrested too. I understand having minors in a strip club is probably why he's getting arrested. But it just, I'm like, why is he getting arrested? He's got to be of age. But anyway, they call her lawyer, which is, of course, Jim's dad. And, well, he's so, what do you call it? He's so frank with them. He's just like, when, like, Eric sees me, oh, hi, Mr. Livingston. He goes, oh, Eric, how are your parents? Well, they're good. They're really good, actually. There is this gag at the beginning of the film I forgot to mention where Eric's dad, once again played by Christopher McDonald, drops him and Kuz off, and he shows a list of all the women he banged, and yet his mom's not the last person on the list. And he's like, oh, well, you were 3. We had a trial separation for a week. He's like, there's 10 names on that 1 week alone. He goes, and one of them was actually Kuz's mom. Now, they glanced over this. That actually doesn't make any sense. I was going to say that maybe Kuz is actually his kid, but no. It doesn't make any sense because they're both 3, so never mind. They kind of glance over it and stuff, and like he's like, you had sex with his mom? Yeah. How was it? Yeah. How would you remember that far back anyway? It must have been kind of memorable if you remember it that far back. But anyway, yeah, there's that little gag. But so they get out of jail and they steal the geek's little electronic microchip thingy. And so then the geeks show up and they say, we challenge you to the Greek Olympiad, which I guess is a Greek tradition among the frats that has been banned for 40 years. And the last winner of the Greek Olympiad was one Noah Levenstein, Jim's dad. Ow. Jim's dad. So, they're going to have the... And I'm not going to go into specifics because there's a lot of gross, explicit stuff with it. There's just a couple things. One, they do a tribute to, I believe, the Deer Hunter with a horse, semen, Russian roulette scene, which the geeks lose. So before this, they needed to get information so they can get ahead, to get an advantage on the geeks. So they go to Rock, the little dude from the first one, and he hands a tape. Apparently, the leader of the geeks has a fetish for sheep. But anyway, that factors into the last game, which is you have a woman rub on you and try not to arrive in your pants. Now, you think that the ample choice for this, because that was his storyline in the film, would be, for the Beta House, would be Eric, right? Nope, it's Dwight. Why? Because he's the leader and he's facing off against the leader of the geeks, that's why. And that's the only reason why that happened. They're like, no. Maybe they wrote that Eric did it because that was his storyline. They're like, no, Dwight has to be against... If it's the leader of the geeks, Dwight has to be against him. That's, because they're both the leaders and stuff. So they wrote that in. But they didn't take out the early arrival subplot for Eric. So there's no end to that subplot. He just goes from trying to control himself to... It's done. Nothing. They don't even bring it up again. And I've seen this thing maybe 6 or 7 times. And I just realized it this time. I'm like, they go through that whole story about how he can't control it. And this would have been the perfect time for him to actually control it. And they don't do it because most likely it has to be Dwight facing off against the leader of the geeks. And it would have worked too because they had a secret plan. When the geek frat brings out a hotter chick to swoon Stifler, they bring out Marjorie, whatever her name is, Bobby's girlfriend in the sheet costume to rub against the leader of the geeks. And yes, he arrives early, so they win. Another character I forgot to mention is Wesley. And he's added to this movie, and they address him not being in the previous film because he's a blackout drunk. Every time he gets alcohol, he goes nuts. And so he was in a jail in Tijuana, and he had to dig his way out with a spoon, I think it was. They show one of his blackouts where he woke up on a plane coming back from Bangkok with a little boy that he somehow took. Then they had to send him back because there was an international incident. I don't know. They do this gag where, at the end, where he wakes up after the night of drinking and celebrating and stuff, and he's got this muscle-bound woman, this big old bodybuilder woman, coming out and saying, "Are you ready to put some more protein in me?" I'm just like, yo. But, yeah, hey, I really like this movie. It's, like I said, it's my favorite of the direct-to-video movies because I like characters. I like I said, the only thing that really, really bother me, like a lot of stuff I said here was nitpicks. But the only thing that really, really bothers me is that subplot with Eric doesn't really go anywhere, like at all. It just fizzles out, and they had a great way to come back around to. There's also another subplot with Kuz and the girl that he likes, and he's afraid she has a dingy dong, but it turns out she's just a squirter. It happens, I guess. But yeah, not bad. Like I said, Robbie Amell probably would have been a better replacement for Ryan. But like I said, Bobby's not a bad character. He's really a nitpick. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Because like I said, it's my favorite of the direct-to-video ones. I really love it. 9 out of 10 for me. So what are your guys' thoughts on American Pie presents Beta House? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.